The Sports Renegades podcast on SportstownChicago.com. Welcome back to the Sports Renegades here on SportstownChicago.com. I'm Ryan Stuprich.
And I am Ryan Risky.
There is some breaking, well, not necessarily breaking, but there is some new NFL news and notes. Isn't there, Ryan Risky?
Yeah, there are. And I mean, right now, free agency has just been, it's been a really good free agency with all these trades and signings, and there's still good guys on the market, like Greg Hardy's still on the market. 26-year-old defensive end.
Right, and
will likely be suspended for the first 2 games, though.
Yeah, and somebody that the Bears had their eye on as well.
Terrence Knighton signed with the Redskins. Reportedly, the Bears were hoping they could get him to be their defensive tackle because they don't really have any, because they let Stephen Paya go to the Redskins on a 4-year, $20 million contract. And
right.
That, I mean, unless you trust the Phil Emery guys, Will Sutton and Ego Ferguson.
Yeah,
do you trust them?
Ego Ferguson is interesting. I'm not a big
I don't know
fan
about
of Sutton. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Sutton. Ego Ferguson's a better player, I think. I'm
not sure he's a starting player in this league, though.
There might be some room for growth with him.
Right. I mean, he's more of probably a project, a longer-term project player. They may draft a defensive tackle in the first round.
Yeah, they could pretty much draft anything in the first round. Anything will help.
Right.
I'm not sure who they have their eye on necessarily.
I think that if Amari Cooper falls to them, I think he's going to be. They should take him, even though they have the needs on defense. Phil Emery's doing it, or not Phil. Good Lord, Phil Emery.
Ryan Pace.
Ryan Pace. Yes, I don't know why I forgot his name. Like my brain just went dead.
It's because we're all stuck in the Phil Emery, Mark Trestman era. Still.
Yeah, really. Yeah,
it's tough. John Fox and Ryan Pace. We got to remember.
With Ted Phillips helping to ruin things still.
George McCaskey has to keep him in a cage at Hallis Hall.
Yeah, really. Yeah, I mean, I think Ryan Pace is doing a really fantastic job, and I do think that they'll never be in a position. I don't want to go and spend like huge money on a wide receiver in free agency.
No, I don't either, because you don't necessarily need it.
Well, it's not that they don't need it. It's just like the free agent wide receivers generally don't play as well or live up to their contracts because they're learning a new system, new quarterback, new everything.
And the Bears still have Marquise Wilson. Not that he's necessarily supposed to be a starting wide receiver, but you still have him as an option.
They've got decent depth. That's why I think Amari Cooper would be a good option, because it's a guy the Bears could develop on their own, not have to spend ridiculous money on a
I wouldn't think
big name wide receiver. And if you think about it, those are the guys the wide receivers in free agency are getting $12 or $15 million a year. I mean, that's too much for a wide receiver.
Yeah,
that's way too much.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Well, I'd just rather get Amari Cooper, and then you can go defense after that, where Phil Emery's done a nice job addressing the defense, and we'll see. Maybe Vic Fangio's scheme. Maybe he might be trusting Vic Fangio's scheme to help out players like Jared Allen and Tim Jennings again, because remember, I mean, it might have been Mel Tucker's system that was the problem. It really could have been that system that was the problem with a lot of the Tim Jennings and Jared Allen.
Well, we know that it was a big issue.
I mean, Tim Jennings was
season long,
phenomenal.
It was a huge issue.
2 straight seasons, and then last year he looked like he didn't know how to play. And I think it really had something to do with that's the Mel Tucker, Mark Trestman system. I mean, I think they might want to give Jared Allen another year just to see kind of how.
Well, I think they are going.
Oh yeah, they absolutely have to.
I'm sure he's going to be. I don't know how effective he's going to be.
Yeah, I just mean instead of signing another defensive end or drafting a defensive. I mean, defensive tackle is a position they'll need to address.
Yes. Yeah, they will.
Now, I mean, I do kind of hope Amari Cooper falls to them, because I know that they're not really looking for the.
Where is he projected to be drafted, though?
Top 10.
Okay, he's supposed to be top 10, and
the
Bears
Jets.
are what?
The Jets won't be taking a wide.
Tampa
Bay is going to take a quarterback.
Right. Well, Tampa Bay, assumingly, is going to take Jameis Winston. We don't know, but they might take Jameis Winston.
Yeah, or Marcus Mariota.
I mean, Winston's a better quarterback.
Yeah, he is. On the field, he's ready. It's just off the field is the problem. Except he's probably the better franchise quarterback going forward. And Mariota had a bad pro day. He even admitted he played bad.
Yeah, he had a bad pro day, and he had a bad championship game too against Ohio State.
And then. Tennessee, even if they don't take a quarterback, that second overall is too early to take Amari Cooper. It's not like last year when there was like Sammy Watkins and Odell Beckham Jr. and Mike Evans.
Yeah, those guys are big-time wide receivers right now.
Yeah, and this is supposed to be a deep wide receiver class because if you can get an elite talent like Amari Cooper, and the thing is, Alabama has the best success rate of having NFL stars. Like Alabama, Alabama has the best program for NFL stars, and that's the thing. Like Green Bay's drafted a lot of Alabama players early, like Clinton Dix, Eddie Lacy.
Yeah,
those are pretty solid players.
Take a look at how those turned out. I mean, those are very good, things for the Packers.
I trust the Alabama program a lot. So that's why another thing that makes Amari Cooper a little more enticing. I mean, I know they do need the needs on defense, except if they can develop their own top wide receiver, that helps them a lot. And, I mean, third overall, I doubt Oakland. Actually, I think Oakland has the third overall. I doubt they would take a wide receiver, although Derek Carr could use a guy.
Yeah, because I think it's Tampa Bay, Tennessee, Oakland.
I know the Jets are 6, and they won't be taking a wide receiver since they got Marshall and Decker. They want a quarterback.
Yeah, and maybe Mariota could fall to them. Although I don't know if they really want him either. Although he's better than Geno Smith.
Yeah, I think they do want. I read they do want. They're going to push for Mariota.
Other than that, I mean, there's really no good quarterbacks at all.
Yeah, other than those two.
I heard on the radio earlier today. It's definitely been the lowest class in a while for quarterbacks.
Yeah, I mean, other than the top two, there's literally nothing after that. And I mean, Oakland and Jacksonville have really bad needs on defense, and Jacksonville just gave Julius Thomas a big contract. Like they've still got Justin Black. I mean, I doubt Jacksonville takes a wide receiver because they took 4 wide receivers last year. They got Allen Hurns, Marquise Lee, Andre Robinson.
Yeah.
And I believe Andre Holmes. So, I mean, they drafted 4 good Marquise Lee. They drafted a lot of 4 wide receivers early in the round, or in the early rounds last year, so I don't see them taking a wide receiver in the first round this year.
Right. I
mean, he could, unless there's obviously this is we're going at this as if nobody were to trade up to try to get Amari Cooper, because I'm sure some teams will want to. I mean, look what the Bills did last year with Sammy Watkins. They traded 2 first-round picks.
Right.
Which I didn't think it made enough sense because they didn't have a franchise quarterback at the time. They don't have a first-round pick this year, and is E.J. Manuel the guy going forward? No.
Yeah, no,
he couldn't even beat out Kyle Orton.
Well, and they decided, after I think week 3 or 4, that they put Orton in his place.
And what I just thought was hilarious was after week 1, all the sports writers were writing the evolution of E.J. Manuel's mind and how great he was going to be.
It's like he beat the Bears.
Mind. Yeah, and it's like, well, he did beat the Bears, and look at that defense. Was that?
And it was
impressive?
overtime. I mean, he didn't have an outstanding game that game.
No, I mean, I'm sure. Yeah, no, I mean, it was bad. Geno Smith threw for 350 yards against the Bears.
Pretty much anything that the Bears did, it always backfired, of course, and. This draft is going to be really interesting because the Bears have, 7 picks?
They have a pick in every round. And
yeah.
The nice thing is, I mean, they've got early picks in all the rounds. I mean, second round, there'll be some good defensive tackles and linebackers available.
Yeah, so hopefully they'll take people that nobody's really mad about. Like, nobody screams at the TV, why did you take him?
Yeah, we know Phil Emery would take some guy we had never heard of. Or actually, he would probably trade down.
When he did it with Shea McClellan.
So that he could trade down to draft a no-name guy, and then people wouldn't hound him for doing it with such an early pick.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, so we're going to do an update real quick, and then we will talk a little bit about just college basketball before our final segment, which will be about the NBA and the Chicago Bulls. So, Sports Renegades will be back in a second. Welcome back to the Sports Renegades here on SportstownChicago.com. We have a couple minutes before our final break, and during this time I just wanted to recap sort of the NCAA tournament stuff that's going on, and then we'll talk about the NBA and the Bulls in our final segment. So I mean, as far as these conference championships are concerned, they all end on Sunday. I think they end maybe 2 hours before Selection Sunday, where the committee selects the teams that go to the tournament. Of course, if you win your conference tournament, you get an automatic bid to the NCAA tournament, and of course they expanded a couple years ago from 64 teams to 68. So with those first four, those four teams facing off next Tuesday and next Wednesday. And right now, Duke is looking really good, and if anyone's going to beat Virginia in the conference tournament, it would definitely be Duke. Because Duke is number 2 in the country, Virginia is number 3 in the country, and they're probably going to face off in the final for the ACC tournament, which would be a really big game, depending on which team. Either both would be a number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament, or if Duke loses, they could fall down to a 2. If Wisconsin wins the Big Ten tournament, then Wisconsin could certainly be a number 1 seed. So it's all very interesting. Northwestern and DePaul's seasons are over, though, locally, and so is Illinois' possibly. I mean, it's been a really bad 24 hours for college basketball in the state of Illinois. So again, it looks like Illinois won't make the tournament. Northwestern and DePaul won't make the tournament. That's already official. Illinois State has the slimmest of chances to get an at-large bid, but that's not going to happen probably. So it looks like no teams from the state of Illinois will make the tournament, which has happened before, unfortunately, and it sucks because all the best players in college basketball are from Chicago, and they don't stay in the state. So
go to DePaul. They need the help.
You can go to DePaul, which is easier to get into than Illinois and Northwestern, but it's not. You can't be a dummy to go to DePaul or anything. But that would be a good place to start. I mean, DePaul, even Illinois, I don't care. I'm a DePaul fan, but, I mean, if you're from Chicago, then go to Illinois if you really want to play in, a bigger stage than the Big East. I mean, the Big Ten is a bigger stage, but not by far, but it's a big stage. And, Northwestern, you have to be really smart. And that's the thing about Northwestern. They are never going to be as competitive as DePaul or Illinois, just based on the fact where they don't get a lot of good players because there's certain GPA you have to be on the team. You have to be admitted under pretty strict rules for Northwestern's athletic admissions. So it's going to be always tough for them. But I mean, it's sad to not see any postseason college basketball from the state of Illinois, where you have all these people from Illinois who are, playing on different teams, like Jahlil Okafor on Duke, Cliff Alexander on Kansas, and, the list goes on and on and on for all these teams, and it's just, it's really sad to see, obviously. But we're going to take a break. We will come back, and we will talk about our Chicago Bulls and the NBA as the Bulls look to win at Charlotte, and hopefully we'll get some of our players back and everything. So you're listening to Sports Renegades, SportstownChicago.com. The Sports Renegades podcast on SportstownChicago.com.